Hello, my name is Dr. Cherise White, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for even clicking on this to tune into my first video. Super grateful and looking forward to getting into things together. Like I said, my name is Dr. Cherise White. Sorry, my son is wanting me to open this. There we go. Here you go, bud. We're mainly going to go into things about motherhood, but then also I want to give you guys a lot of holistic insight into basically how to approach pregnancy, a natural childbirth, and your postpartum journey. So, if you want to know more, please continue to tune in to my videos. Today, we're going to be talking about what it's like to have a natural unassisted birth. So stay tuned and I will get into it. Okay, so the day of, a lot of things were pretty normal. It's usually how most labor starts. You're going about your normal day and then you start feeling something going on. So, especially when I'm pregnant, I get adjusted. I have a chiropractor who is amazing, and I definitely saw a positive experience. I had a positive experience with my last pregnancy and chiropractic, making sure that my sacrum wasn't out of alignment. My pelvis was as in an appropriate position that would facilitate the birth in a comfortable way. But stress just adds different things to your body, so I wanted to make sure that my nervous system was on point, like on point. I had scheduled an appointment for myself that day. I scheduled it for, I think, 5:15 p.m. And I believe my mom took me or went with me to get adjusted. And I went in, I talked to my chiropractor, and he looked at me and started to assess. And he said, "Wow, you're a little bit stressed. I can tell in your body." And I'm like, "I know. And this is exactly why I'm here." So dude adjusts me. It felt great. It was awesome. But I'm at this point, I'm literally any day. This is like, I'm on my due date. This is October 25th. I'm on my due date. My firstborn came like 10 days late or something like that. So I wasn't, I've been here before. So I wasn't getting all gung ho. I was pretty much like, this could be today or it could be in another week. So I was just chilling. We go home about an hour later. So that's around like 7:30, 7:35. I start feeling like, the only way I could describe it, what it felt like gas. If you ever felt like you're having gas, but it's like stuck and it's not like it's a bubble. Joa. Yeah, so that's the best way I could describe it. It felt like gas. Like I just was trapped in like a bubble. So I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna chill. And it was very uncomfortable for gas. So I was like, this is weird, but maybe if I stay in this position, maybe it will help. So that's basically what I tried to do. And so, yeah, that's what I did. And then I started to feel, it was one time, it only happened, like, it was like this one instance where I'm like, oh, this could be a contraction. It feels kind of interesting. So I then like go to my husband and say, I think something might be starting. I basically was kind of pacing it because I really wanted to labor at home. I did not want to labor a ton of time at the hospital, but at the same time, I didn't want to wait so late that I had to be in the car while things were very intense. So, but right now it's still pretty chill. And, so I just was kind of relaxing. And then all of a sudden I felt one that was a bit, intense. So I told my husband at that point, I was like, you need to call my sister and let her know just to come over just in case. And that was really like the one at that point, the only one that was really intense. After that, if it was weird because if I moved my position, like the contractions would stop. So I, at that point, deemed that it was still early labor and that it was not going anywhere super soon. This is kind of happening on and off for a couple hours, and they weren't even that consistent. Some of them are like 5 minutes apart, some of them are 10 minutes apart. Sometimes they're over 10 minutes apart. It all depends on what position I was in. So I was like, this is still baby. This is still rookie season. This is the baby stuff, you know? Because I really was like, okay, well, if I can lay down and sleep, then I want to. Because one thing I remembered from my first labor was it wasn't like, it was more so just uncomfortable. But the biggest thing was I got tired like towards the end. So I was like falling asleep, and I was like, this time I wasn't told. I want to have energy. Like I want to be spry and ready to go, you know? As soon as I went upstairs, it probably was, it may have been going on like 11, I don't know, around 11 or something. As soon as I go upstairs, I take the heating pad because that was, you know, I had that and it was helping. And I lay down. It's like all of a sudden I start getting regular, you know, in more intense contractions. So I know the shower is like the best place when you're in labor. It's so relaxing. You know, any intensity I feel like I felt was typically goes away. I experienced that my first time too. So I just was like, instinct, go to the shower. Doing what really naturally came to me and not necessarily what was coached to me. Instead of doing like certain breath work that was coached to me to help, I literally did just how I know I can get my body and like to relax. That's what I was focusing on. And so I did that. And it was weird because I was in a shower, I started to feel something between my legs. And I'm like, what's happening? So I reached down there and I feel this like water sac. Mind you, it could have been, it's hard. I don't really know. So now looking back on it, I'm like, it could have been the placenta, it could have been the water sac. I think it was the water sac probably, because I was in the shower still and I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I'm feeling that. I start to have like more intense like contractions coming. But honestly, they were pretty easy because I knew how to relax my back. Like I was doing that and just kind of swaying because I knew dropping my shoulders and my jaw at the same time would made it easier for me to signify like my back relaxing. Like literally was making the contractions like pretty seamless. I had this thought where I was like, man, am I gonna have to try and get in the car now because I was like, I feel like I'm close. I'm getting closer, you know? Still didn't realize how close it was. But I was like, am I going to have to get in the car and labor with this? This is going to be miserable. You're not meant to be in a car when you're laboring. It just is not the case. I just believe that. As soon as I have that thought, it's crazy because I start getting this involuntary urge to push. I'm like, no, not already. Because it didn't feel like anything had happened. I wasn't feeling like pain or intense, like super intense stuff. Probably because I was relaxing, but I just was like, no way. This is way too early. And I'm feeling like this water sac again, and it feels like this big. And I'm like, what is this? I do call my husband over because I was saying like, hey, these are more intense. I think we need to call midwives at the hospital because I think it's time to go. And the midwife is basically saying, okay, you need to get here as soon as possible. So help her get out of the shower and get her to the car and all of that stuff. So and finally I'm like, I'm just going to check myself to see what's going on up there. Cause I'm like, this is a full on water sac coming out my legs, between my legs. And so I check and I put my middle finger up there and like probably this far up, maybe the two little notches. There's the head. Oh my gosh, I feel the head's right there. Then I get another involuntary, and this is while I'm in the bathroom, like stepping in and out of the shower. I said, babe, the head is right here. And I have another involuntary urge to push, and then the head is literally coming out. Midwife is literally like, okay, you're not gonna make it here clearly. So after that point, she says, hang up, call call 911 and try and get some like someone dispatched there. By the time my husband's on the phone with the paramedics, the head is out. I need to figure out like what I need to do right now. And thankfully my husband had a lot of experience from our previous home birth. So we're a team. We're in sync. Like we know at the end of the day, if it's me and you, it's me and you. We're gonna do it. He tries to get me out of the shower, and at first I'm like, no, I'm very relaxed. I want to stay in the shower. But eventually, like probably 30 seconds later, I'm like, okay, let me get out of the shower because I actually think I was thinking about it, and I'm like, there's no way that my husband's going to be able to catch me the way that our bathroom is set up. Like he can't get in there to catch the baby. So I'm like, okay, Cherise, buck up, get out the shower. Maybe you're uncomfortable for a little bit, but it's okay. I lean over the bed and I'm like trying to push because Jason, my husband's like, babe, I need you to push. Like the head is out. I need you to push the rest of the way. Because that's what the paramedic is telling him. It's very hard to push without a contraction effectively. Like you're just kind of like, but you don't really have, like, I feel like the real strength to do it. I just had to wait for another contraction. And it probably was like 2 or 3 contractions later that lo and behold, we pushed the child out. Thankfully, it was just within just enough time. My mom had heard like us kind of making a little bit of a ruckus. So she had kind of sported upstairs, helped Jason get some towels over. And then just in time, whoop, whoop, pushed out the child. It was crazy. Thankfully, it's just, it's God. So basically there was a paramedic that was right down the street when Jason called. So they arrived within minutes. We were able to, like, while the paramedic was on the phone, we look at the sex of the baby, and it's a girl. I felt like it was a girl. I had a feeling that it was. So it was a very cool confirmation. The paramedic is on the phone and he's like, okay, so this is what you're going to do, Dad. You're going to get some scissors. You're going to cut the cord. And I'm like, babe, don't listen to him. Because we want delayed cord clamping. So I wanted to make sure the cord wasn't pulsing anymore and had the whole, gotten all the good things to my little girl. So I was like, babe, don't listen to him. Just say we're past that point. So he's like, the paramedic is asking, like, so did you cut the cord? It's like, yeah, we got that. Yeah, it's fine. What next? Some minutes later, the paramedics arrive. They come upstairs and basically work on kind of like getting me on a table because, you know that feeling like they're after birth, like right after you push them out, before you even get the placenta out, all that stuff. It's always very interesting because you just feel it's exhilarating. You just feel, I guess, endorphins, probably oxytocin and all of those things. Just, you feel exhilarated and you're like, whoa, what just happened? But at the same time, your body feels a little raw because you're just in the pelvic area. It just feels raw. I don't know how else to describe it other than that word. We do end up, before we leave, cutting the umbilical cord, and then we basically from there leave my sister with my son because she was gonna stay. She's not exactly like into all the bodily fluids, so she was fine and preferred to stay with with my son, and then and my husband traveled in the emergency vehicle, and my mom drove our car to the hospital. So that's how we all went. It was probably one of the most fun things. Afterwards, I literally was like, can we do it again? Like, can I just skip the pregnancy and get to this part? Because I'm telling you, it's just the most, exhilarating thing that I can think of. The idea of meeting my little girl that way and my husband literally birthing my child was it was so surreal. It was amazing. And so we get to the hospital. I'm probably going to do like what's a pro and cons of this situation, right? Because I had done all of the work pretty much in my labor and then got to the hospital and I'm really just at the hospital to continue to check on the baby. So they took me to the emergency side of the hospital, which was overwhelming. Let me tell you, sorry, I'm skipping to different points. But the emergency room, like the corridor that you come in to the hospital, was, there probably was literally 30 people in there. Mind you, I'm literally in my bathrobe because that's what I grabbed when I came out of the shower and tried to clothe myself as the, paramedics are there. Mind you, I'm like, I ain't got a bra on, I ain't got underwear on, I ain't got nothing. Like, so there's just 30 people crowded around me. Half of them looking at my baby, half of them looking at me. Thankfully, there was one woman in there that was like, okay, I'm about to check, because she wanted to check inside me and stuff like that to, check for like rips or tears or something like that. And so she's finally like, okay, we need to clear this room. I'm not using the word 30, the number 30 to exaggerate. It was a lot of people. Eventually I get to a room and then they transfer me over to like the postpartum care room where, it's you and your baby and just more space. So I finally get to that room, and my biggest thing about this whole situation, right? Because I had a birth plan that I had given to the midwives that I had, a lot of it was focused too on the postpartum care of it, because I really wanted to go home as fast as possible. I love home births because all you have to do is literally hop in your bed and relax. To me, is a lot more comforting and relaxing than being in a hospital bed, which is kind of uncomfortable. But then, yeah, there's all these different elements. So I don't want to say held hostage. That sounds bad. I know they view it as serving me. I'm grateful for the care, because the teams that came through that day were honestly so nice, so respectful. They're very respectful of my choices to decline a lot of their services, to be honest. I was preparing in my mind, okay, I might have to get a little bit more aggressive if some of the practitioners in there, the doctors, or, the pediatricians, push back on some of my declining some of their recommendations. However, I was very just impressed with them. And maybe if if you're looking, maybe I could tell you guys where it was or something like that if you're in California and you care. But I was just impressed with the team and how relaxed they were and how respectful they were of saying, this is your choice. This is your baby, your body. We would never tell you to make you do anything. But I was able to get out in 18 hours instead of their typical 24 to 48 because everything was normal. Our baby was doing amazing. Our baby girl was amazing. There was nothing abnormal about it. So after that point, I was at least able to get that finished. I wanted to dry our placenta and save it and take it as a supplement. And so I was able to get, that was something there were also where I was very cool with. I was impressed with the hospital that they allowed me to sign off a waiver to keep the placenta. And then we were able to take that and then get it prepared as a supplement for me. My experience there, while it wasn't the ideal, it was very positive. It was. Had great people all day long. After that, we were able to come home and enjoy our little one. After the last 24 hours, I had her at 12:15 a.m. on October 26th, and it was amazing. While I didn't plan for it to be unassisted, it was so empowering afterward to know that I started off with someone telling me, I don't think a home birth is going to be possible. And then to literally flip side and literally do it with just me and my husband, I was like, the Lord is good and your girl is a boss. Why am I telling you this? It's really so you remember, mom, that you are the most, and the baby are the most important voices in the room. You are. We somehow as a society, we've gotten to this element of believing that the doctors and the nurses and all of that are the most important because they're there to take care of you. But honestly, there's no one that knows you the way that you do, and especially whoever your support is. So whether that's the father, whether that is your mom, or maybe their support. If you don't have the father there, you guys are the team. You guys are the team. Everyone else is the extension of help in case there is something that goes awry. Now, there are certain elements that I think are helpful. If you have like a midwife or a doula, and they know certain verbiage and they've seen things before where they can help coach you through. I think, especially for your first time, it is so important to have people there that have done it before and that can help ease your mind when it comes to the way things are happening, how things are feeling, how to even use the proper muscles to push, because that was something that my midwife helped me with the first one, where I can she helps me direct, like, okay, this is where you push, this is the muscles, this is what it needs to feel like. So having someone that's able to describe that to you is amazing, is great. But I will say there was something just even more just empowering about doing it with just me and my husband. And just, it was amazing. I'm not saying that I think the biggest thing that I would have a midwife or, there for is for afterward the baby, just doing that check to make sure, are the vitals there? Is your APGAR score, sorry, appropriate? Like, are they doing all the signs that a baby needs to do? Are their oxygen levels great? And having a way to remedy that if the answer is not favorable. So I still think it is very important and a great opportunity to have midwives there. They can be as involved on a hands-on or hands-off as you want them to be. But I think for me, the biggest thing is they're there to make sure that, obviously me, but when I do what I need to do and we get done what we need to get done, they can make sure that baby is good. That was my birth story. Thank you so much. Hopefully you made it to the end. Like I said, we are going to have an amazing time together. So stick around for my future videos. Stay tuned and excited to go on this journey together.